Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on Tim's Tech Corner. Today we're going to take a look at a new hero in Marvel Heroes called Emma Frost. She was just recently released in the new patch that Marvel has put out, which I believe is patch 1.2. We can go ahead and take a look at what she's like in the store. She's actually the first money that I've dropped for this particular game. She cost 1100 G, so it was a purchase of about $20, so it gave me some left over. And the reason why I actually wanted to spend money on her is the write-up on her made her look really cool, and I was very interested in taking a look at this particular hero. So here she is in the store.
People really called you a goddess?
She cost 1100, similar to people like the Hulk and some of the other somewhat upper tier. The total upper tier would be people like Deadpool and Iron Man, and then you have that mid-upper of like Jean Grey, Phoenix at 1100, and then the lower tiers at 450. She has two costumes available, and you can find that over here. She has the X-Men costume at 950, which is pretty revealing, and she has her kind of classic White Queen costume. Now the reason why I was interested in this particular hero, as you can see actually over here, this is a minion of mine, little Hydra operative that I grabbed. And you do this by going down her Hellfire Headmistress tree, which is her middle tree. This one is her basically mind domination power, psychic domination. And I just basically got her up and running and went over to the vendor. And he happened to have a piece of gear that had a +2 to this, or a +1. And this is it right here, which is bound to my A. Attack an enemy's mind, gaining control of that foe if its health drops below 20%. When control minion gains double health, double movement speed, bonus damage. When a control minion is defeated, it revives several seconds later. Controlling a new minion releases the first and renders it unconscious. Bosses, robots, pets, and any orange or red enemies cannot be controlled, but orange or red is pretty high level. That means you can get blues. And the write-up made it sound like you could be walking around Avengers Tower with a giant T-Rex for one of the missions in here. So she starts with Psybolt and Psychic Blast, which is her left and right mouse buttons. Here's her Psybolt. This is her standard attack. And here's her right click, which is actually a channeled, as you can see over here. It looks like her spirit regens pretty well, so let's go ahead and go into this little instance, which I believe is new in patch 1.2, and it involves Black Cat, if I remember correctly.
Behold our new world order. Where is your freedom now? Hydra! Behold the power of Hydra!
I find it kind of funny that my minion does his
Kneel before Hydra!
anti-hero emotes over there. I think that's pretty cool. But it could potentially get annoying if you get a particularly talkative minion. So it looks like none of those drops were actually going to be worth anything, except for this. So this one grants Sparkling Spin, so let's see what that is. That seems to be over here in her diamond form. I believe this is actually her tanky tree over here. This is her standard psychic tree. This is her domination tree, and this is the one where she can go ahead and tank, which I believe has to do with turning into her diamond form. Let's see if it actually does anything. That's kind of neat. Oh, hey, it puts me in diamond form.
Hope you didn't start the party without me.
So it actually looks like my minion's doing a fairly good job of tanking this boss over here.
This isn't really what I planned.
Hydra reigns supreme.
I don't feel superior. I am superior. For me?
So because Black Cat was a boss, the mind control did not work on her there at the end. So let's see what we can do with her points. I think I'm going to go ahead and add one there because I'm really interested in that particular tree. And I think I'll buff up her standard attack. So the heroes that I have currently in my roster are Scarlet Witch, which was a drop, I believe, before they went to the Eternity Splinters method. I got Scarlet Witch as a drop, and Hawkeye was my one that I picked when I installed. During the beta, I did a lot of Daredevil, so I kind of wanted to get away from him a little bit just because I was so familiar with him and wanted to see what a more ranged character would be like. I also happened to get Hulk as a drop during beta, and I think I purchased Miss Marvel with the in-game currency they had given you during the beta. So I'm used to a little bit of the roster over here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a little bit, and we'll revisit Emma Frost as she's gained some more abilities, and we find out a little bit more about her. So, welcome back, and we are looking at Emma Frost still. Currently got her running around in her diamond mode, which is basically the tanky side of her. Now, the tank side and the psychic sides don't play well with each other. If you take a look at the abilities, most of these diamond ones will cancel if you use Omega abilities, and certain Omega abilities like the Psychic Awareness will turn off if you're currently in diamond form. So that's kind of a unique perspective on a character, that you can essentially be a combination of two opposing sides. Over here is my current little pet. This I found this little Hydra mech when I was doing a mission from one of the terminals up in this area over here, up there. This is a commander mech, and basically what he does is he likes to bombard an area. And this thing, if you're running an Emma Frost, you've really got to get one of these. I've heard a lot of people talking in chat about other pets like a raptor and some ones with haste auras, but this guy does an extremely good job of putting out a huge amount of damage. He's a little slow, but if you happen to, say, be in diamond form and keeping somebody stunned or put in a certain area and his bombardment comes down, it really does a ton of damage, even on bosses. So I'm going to go ahead and teleport back to where I was and show you a little bit of my level 10 Emma Frost. She is now as high as my highest hero, which is Hawkeye. I'm going to go ahead and run a damage serum. So right now for her abilities, I have Psybolt at 4, Psychic Blast. This Telepathic Vortex is getting a big boost from something on her gear. A level 3 Psychic Domination. Level 4 Rewards of Loyalty, which is getting a little bit of a gear boost. Mental Overload, which, to be honest, I really haven't used. I don't want to detonate this guy. I like him quite a bit. My gear is giving me this Frenzied Confusion, which is really handy. It just makes people, sometimes in a pack, just stay still and fight each other, which is good for the pet.
You can have Hell's Kitchen.
And I have a little bit going on here in her tanky spec, but not too much. I've had a real lot of fun playing with her today. She is she's about as fun as I expected, which is the whole reason why I snagged her. That was his AoE ability. As you can see, he just basically took out that team over there. If I try to go up the stairs and fight this meeting, which I've already cleared, he usually can't make it, but I'll use her mind control up here instead. And go diamond form a little bit. That's a mind control, so it can actually be used to give you a little bit of a breather if you're just facing one enemy. See, unfortunately, my pet couldn't quite make it up here, which does happen occasionally. Usually, though, if you outrange your pet, he will go ahead and catch up to you. Basically teleports. The AI is not too good on Emma's pets yet. You'll be trying to go in a particular direction and your pet will catch wind of something behind you and just take off and go backwards and try to beat on whatever it was that it saw. But usually if you get out of range of your pet too much, he'll teleport and catch up. To be honest, this has been the most interesting character that I've ever seen that can mind control or get a pet, because this pet, it just hangs out through everything. Aside from detonating it, I mean, you can switch heroes and come back and you still have the pet. You can zone in and out, you still have the pet. You can get pets with pretty good abilities, like haste auras, or pets that make other pets, and then, you know, they'll fight for you also. Here's an Eternity Splinter. I think I'm sitting around 50 or so right now. That was a pretty decent example of my pet's bombardment.
For me? How thoughtful.
And there's a good example of him getting caught a little bit. So as I said earlier, Emma was definitely the first hero that I purchased, the first money that I've spent on this game, and I really consider her money well spent. I really am enjoying this tune.
Think of this as a learning experience.
And see, that's a pretty good combination to use with him. Go diamond form. Just go toe to toe with your things and keep him in one spot. He'll just bombard the crap out of them. Now, the only drawback that I've seen to playing Emma is that she's not too good at destroying environmental things. You really have to go to her diamond form in order to do any of that. So like these barrels over here, the side bolts don't do anything. But if you use her diamond abilities, like my F and my G, the dash, and the diamond smash, they will actually do it. Now when you run around in an area and you see a bunch of Emmas, especially if they are all using their pets, and they're using pets from the area, it does get extremely confusing as to which things you should aim for. Fortunately, you could still pretty much tell what thing is an Emma pet. They usually have a little bit of a glow to them that they don't normally. And her AoE abilities are just fantastic. You can see I barely did anything to that group and they just fell over. See, there you go, just barely looked at him. Fall over, experience balls. Every now and then you'll use your crowd mind control ability and you won't see it, so you're not exactly too sure if it went off. So you just have to look for the enemies having a little bit of purple. It's actually a pretty good form of crowd control.
Business, pal.
The reason why it's pretty good crowd control is it allows you to temporarily MC maybe an enemy you don't want to deal with so that you can focus on others.
Take 'em out. Good to see you.
So far, she's probably been the most fun hero that I've played with in the game. From what I've read about the patch notes, apparently Iron Man he's gotten a bit more powerful. He sounds like he'd probably be a ton of fun to play, but then again, it's Iron Man, so you would kind of expect it. So as you can see here, this pet is doing a really good job of killing things. He's done a pretty good job on bosses too, just standing there and grabbing the boss's attention. Now, some have said that Gazillion has gotten maybe a little greedy lately with your real-life money, with the fact that heroes don't drop anymore, and you have to get them from splinters. I must say, the splinters are dropping pretty regularly today. I don't play this game too often. Especially now that 5.4 is going to be coming out for WoW, and that's still my MMO of choice these days. But When I do play it, I think I'm really going to be focusing on my Emma now. She's definitely a lot of fun, and I think her mind controls can open up a world of fun in this game that you really can't get with too many other classes. Okay, we've got the event going on where we have to save the people from the ninja invasion.
Think of this as a learning experience.
Also, as you can see, my minion does a pretty good job of destroying the environment. Now, what's pretty cool about her different abilities with the trees that she gets into, she's very versatile in terms of the defense of the enemies. If you run up to something that is mentally resistant, just go to her diamond abilities.
Hear the thunder of destruction.
So here we have the Taskmaster Institute, which is going to be a mini-boss. Definitely fought him before in the beta and on my Hawkeye. So we'll get to see how Emma Frost does against him.
People really called you a goddess? They must have low standards where you come from.
She is a little bitchy. Now, when you see loot on the ground, you can always go for it because you only see your own loot. Most of the Emmas that I've seen tend to run more in their psychic mode. And the game's also really nice about alerting you to splinters. As you can see, I got an arrow there that a splinter had dropped. And you also got a rather audible ding. What's kind of cool about when you have an enemy minion, they will continue to do the emotes that they would do when they are an enemy. So that's kind of cool. Steve
should
Blum,
not have enjoyed that
he voices
so
over everything. So there you go, there's a little bit more of Emma Frost at a higher level than we saw earlier in the video. Currently got her at level 10. And I'd say if you've got the ability to get her in Marvel Heroes, she definitely seems to be worth it. She's a lot of fun and brings some quite unique gameplay to Marvel Heroes. So, hope you enjoyed this video here on G4G, Games for Gamers, and continue to check out my channel. Might do one with her at higher levels if I get around to it. Thanks, and take care.